Merhaba, hoş geldiniz. Ozlem from Ozlem's Turkish Table. Today we're making poğaça. Delicious savory pastries with cheese and parsley. As you see the finished one here. It is a very popular savory treat back at home, Turkey. Also along Balkans. And I thoroughly enjoy it and so miss it, and it's one of my children's favorite savory treat. Let me take you through how to make that wonderful savory pastry. So we have, first of all, 112 ml of warm milk here, and I'm adding my 7 gram of active dried yeast, and I will mix this up and leave it aside so that it dissolves completely for a few minutes and gets a little bit bubbly too, so that the yeast will become active. And then we will add this to the remaining ingredients in the dough. It's a lovely, lovely soft pastry, you'll see. And I call myself a cook rather than a baker, you know, and if I can do this, you can for sure do it even better, I'm sure too. Lovely. So I'm gonna leave this aside to get a little bit frothy. Wonderful. And here I will add my flour. So I have all-purpose plain flour here, 425 grams. And I will do a little well in the middle, and I'll add about 1 teaspoonful of salt. I like to use sea salt, much healthier. And what else? So we have also here 90 ml of whole milk plain yogurt. If you like, you can use semi-skim yogurt too. I have here 120 ml light olive oil. I have here 1 egg beaten. So that will all go into my mixture along with the yeast. I did wash my hands quite a few times, but I'll do one more time and then we will get going. As I said, while we are waiting for the yeast to get a bit frothy, this is a much loved pastry, not only in my homeland Turkey, but along Balkans too. I presume it's a sort of joint common heritage, culinary heritage with the Ottomans and whatnot too. And you, if you go to Turkey, you'll see Istanbul and everywhere, street stalls, pastries, pastry shops all sell this lovely treat. One of my fondest memories is grabbing my poğaça in the street stalls in Beşiktaş and catching up the ferry to go from European side to the Asian side, vapor, with a glass of chai in your hand. It's the fantastic breakfast or a great sort of mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack. My children adore it, and actually the moment we bake it, half of the tray immediately goes finished. Right, so let's carry on getting our dough ready. Let's add our yogurt. So the recipe is at my cookery book, Ozlem's Turkish Table, over here. Also at my blog, ozlemsturkishtable.com. Let's add our oil, light olive oil. It's a lovely soft dough. Now in goes the egg. I like to use free-range egg. 1 egg beaten, medium size. Wonderful. And now I'm gonna add my yeast mixture too. Wonderful, lovely, lovely. Right, so with washed hands, I will go hands-on and get everything together. Just mix the flour, yogurt, egg, olive oil, and the yeast and milky mixture, all blending in. I remember making this pastry for a cookery class I've been teaching back in the US, Austin, Texas. And I used to call my mother, early days, you know, early 2000s, to get the dough recipe for this lovely poğaça as well as pide and whatnot. And Mom would keep on saying, Özlemcim, you'll add the glass full of this and a spoonful of that. And I would say, Mom, I really need accurate measurements, grams, ounces, and ideally cups, because I'm teaching in the US. And Mom would say, Özlemcim, the dough needs to be earlobe consistency. Kulak memesi kıvamında olacak. As soft as your earlobe. And he would say, trial and error, you get there. And I never forget that. It always reminds me making the dough and Mom's earlobe consistency. And yes, over 15 years of making and trying it, it's now absolutely perfect. Look at that. It's gorgeous soft dough. It really is an earlobe. And it just comes together so easily. Make sure now it's getting nice and smooth. And you're just gathering all the bits around. So let's recap here. We have 425 grams of all-purpose plain flour. We have the 90 ml yogurt, 120 ml light olive oil, the same amount for the warm milk, 1 egg, 7 grams of yeast. And look, that is perfect dough, nice and smooth now. So easy to make. And you know, we are now at home at the moment, of course, with the pandemic, and children are at home. Involve your children. They would love making this with you. Grandchildren, they would really enjoy it. Lovely. And it's certainly an earlobe. So what I'm now going to do is, you can either pop cling film or a clean tea towel. So I'm going to put my tea towel over there, and at the warm place I will let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour. So while it's doing its business and rising, I want to show you the one I made earlier. So I used the same quantities, but I saved half of it to show to you. The other half made it to make this lovely poğaças ahead of time, and half of the tray already gone thanks to my children, but I saved some to show you. Look, it's lovely, risen, soft, some nice bubbles in it. So that's the absolute consistency you are after. So an hour later it will come like that, still lovely and soft. And then you can now grab walnut sized or even bigger dough balls. So I'm going to show you a bigger version as well as a few smaller versions. You can make it as big or as small as you would like. Let's do a few smalls. And another one, a small one. Let's do that. So show you a big one, another big one, and let's do a few small ones. Here we go. So I have the doughs here, and I have a tray here already greased with light olive oil, and I'll have some little flour on the surface to get my dough ready. And I'll get my filling here. Right, so let's take a big one. So there are different shapes you can make your poğaça turn into. Traditionally, we quite like the big ones But equally, my mother would make the smaller versions that she would serve at her afternoon tea parties, chai saati. So here we go. So that's a sort of a quite a large size one, and I made a circle, and I will have about a tablespoonful of filling at one side. Try not to overfill it. It's very tempting, I know, but try and resist not to overfill it so that the filling don't ooze out. Always leave space about a centimeter along the edges, and then with your fingertips just pinch and stick the edges together. Perfect. So you sort of made like a half moon shape here, and we'll pop the one we made here like that. Perfect. Let's make another one. Let's have a go at another big one. Round shape. And we have the filling at 1/2 of the side. Spread, but make sure you leave the about a centimeter at the edges empty, because that's your sort of folding and pinching space. Fold over the other half, and then with your fingers pinch. And there's always this little cheeky maydanoz parsley comes out. You don't need to use parsley. Parsley is our traditional herb, popular herb. You could use dill, you could use coriander if you like. It's not very popular at home, corianders, but why not? As I said, you could use mashed potatoes that needs finishing. You could use olives. You could use any cheese that is left that can be, needs finishing, or any sort of sauteed vegetables, but not watery, so that it won't make your pastry soggy. Let's make another shape. So this is a smallerish one. So you can sort of make this again an oval or square circle, and let's have it in our hand, open up, and have some, this time less filling because it's smaller, so this much of filling should be enough. And then, so it's in the middle this time, the smaller one. So I am now going to bring the both ends together, but this time at the top, and I'm pinching to make a different shape. So that's another version you could do. Right, let's do one more time. Really is easier than you think. The dough comes together very quickly. You just need to wait about 45 minutes to an hour for the dough to rise a little bit, and then carry on as I'm doing here. Let's have in our hand. Perfect. So it's a bit too much in the middle for the smaller ones, and then pinch at the top and bring it all together. That's a perfect snack with capri tea. Children love it. Even the fussiest children would eat that. And once you finish all your dough, I have egg wash here. With your egg wash, brush your pastry with that. It really does make a difference using a free-range egg. Lovely. Let's do the same for the other ones. It's very relaxing baking, I find. Really comforting. Lovely. Let's do this one too. Sides as well as the top. Lovely. And this one. Lovely. Çok güzel, as we say in Turkish. Super. And we could also decorate. I have some sesame seeds, of course, if there's no allergy for that. Once you do your egg wash, it sticks on your dough easily. And on top of that, you could add çörek otu, sort of nigella seeds, or as I have here, the poppy seeds, whatever you can get hold of. The top, it has a lovely, pretty color, texture. Beautiful. And oven is on at 180 degrees, 350 Fahrenheit, and it will go to the oven and bake for 25 to 30 minutes. And then once it's baked, it will turn like this. And it's fantastic, fresh out of the oven. So yummy. And once you cook it, it can stay in an airtight container in a room temperature for a good few days. It never stays that much in our home because we love it and finish very quickly. But it's a perfect treat. I hope you enjoyed watching this poğaça making session. And please give it a go and let me know. If you're on Instagram and Facebook, I am there at Ozlem's Turkish Table. Find me. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to share. Thank you and afiyet olsun.